Welcome to the fifth and final episode in the series Maximizing the Motorcycle Road Trip. Comfort, audio, gear, virtually everything that was not included in the first 4 episodes is included right here, right now. Stay tuned, here we go. Okay, so you have the greatest routes planned, you've got your accommodations all booked, you got your food and water all set, and you take off, and you're riding, and your butt's killing you, and your head's burning, and your ears are on fire from the noise and the wind buffeting, in the middle of your back's killing you, and you might be thinking, this sucks. When's the next stop? How soon can I get off this thing? So let's run through the last and certainly not least topic we're going to cover on our Maximizing the Motorcycle Road Trip, comfort. Okay, let's start with the riding position. Now, we ride big touring motorcycles. There are many riders who ride adventure bikes or standards, and that's all good, and they have great road trips. What we are talking about here is maximizing the comfort on a large touring bike. So first, the burning butt. It's super common for riders' butts to start burning after a relatively short amount of time, maybe an hour or two. I've known riders who believe that's just a part of riding, and if they can get off their bike every 90 minutes or so, they'll be fine. There are tons of videos already and information on products claiming to solve this burning butt. So I'll be brief with what we've learned after lots of research and working with a custom motorcycle seat manufacturer. There are 2 primary reasons for the burning butt, and maybe surprisingly, a big soft seat is not one of the fixes. The burning butt is almost always due to these 2 things. First, the point of the hip is lower than the knee. Said another way, your knees are too high. This places unnecessary weight on the top of the femur, right at the top of the butt bone there. Ideally, that point of the hip would be about 1.75 inches to 2 inches higher than the knee. This will solve a ton of butt pain. That was my problem for years. Just too much pressure on the top of those butt bones, just grinding into the back of that seat. The weight isn't displaced evenly. And second is width. Put simply, if you have about 1 inch or 1.5 inches of butt hanging off the side of your seat, then it creates leverage and discomfort, more burning butt. You need to spread that weight out evenly across the seat to the greatest extent possible. Essentially, and maybe obviously, there's 2 things you could do. Make your seat wide enough to fit your butt and to get your butt higher and your feet lower. Yes, seat pads can get your butt raised some, but again, just having the pad is going to maybe soften that a little bit, but we're going to talk about in a second, softer isn't always better. You still have that tip of the femur bone grinding into that pad. It's a little softer, but it's still going to cause a lot of butt pain. When Lori bought her Street Glide, it had a Corbin seat. Now, I've had Corbin seats in the past, they're great quality, but they're known for being pretty hard. I was sure that we'd have a problem with her complaining of butt pain due to how firm that seat was. But as it turned out, the width of the seat made all the difference. That combined with an adjustment to her foot position really helped. But more on that in a minute. My search for a seat was a little more complicated, but I believe I found another great source for added comfort. If someone's looking for an aftermarket seat from a popular manufacturer such as Mustang or Corbin, LaPera, or even Harley upgraded seats, they will spend all of $1,000, oftentimes more with a trunk and the passenger setups, custom stitching, etc. And the scary part there is it still might not solve that burning butt problem because it might not be the right seat height or width. Last year, I met a guy working at a booth one weekend at an event at our local Harley dealer. He had a bunch of seats on the table, which I asked him about. He told me he made custom seats, only custom seats. I asked him about making a motorcycle seat for someone my height, thinking he's probably never made one for someone as tall as me. And he went on to say that he just finished making a seat for a guy that was 7 feet 2 inches tall, and his wife was 6 feet 8 inches tall. I was like, what? I mean, I'm only 6'9", and my wife Lori's only 6'2". So clearly he can make a seat for us. He then explained the process they follow when making a seat for a customer. They measure them on their bike. They understand the kind of riding they do and the kind of riding they'd like to do if they had a seat that fit them, and design the perfect seat for them. His name is Scott Rudebush, and the company is Diamond Motorcycle. They're in Crescent City, Florida. We had a Zoom call with Scott and Juan, his head seat builder. I sat on the bike, Lori measured the distances, We put a level on my thigh to make sure my hip would end up higher than my knee, essentially taking the time to make sure they knew everything they needed to know in order to build me the perfect seat. What I ended up with was so much better than I ever could have imagined. It moved me up and back and had me in the perfect riding position for my bike. And the bonus was, it was no more expensive than any of those other aftermarket seat manufacturers. Honestly, I don't know why everyone who rides long distances or even just wants to be comfortable on their motorcycle without the burning butt doesn't have Diamond Motorcycles make them a seat. They ship it to anywhere. The customer service is outstanding. Highly recommend Diamond Motorcycle. Now, back to the feet. If you ride a Harley-Davidson touring motorcycle, a company called Tall Boys Cycles makes floorboard mounting brackets that lowers the boards 2 inches and moves them forward 2 inches. Even moderately tall riders benefit from this increased legroom, and it can get your hip to knee angle just right. Additionally, a company called Soft Brake makes extended brake and extended shift levers for Harley touring bikes. We have found that these 2 changes in the foot position, along with the right seat height, makes a huge difference. Remaining considerations are hand height and windshield height and width. You really want to make sure to make any changes you're going to make to your seat and your foot position before doing anything with these, obviously. Okay, hand position. I've seen a lot of riders with nagging back pain in the middle of their upper back. This is because their hand position is too low. Getting your hands at or slightly lower than your shoulders will resolve this. An additional benefit to making this change is that the higher hand position allows better slow speed maneuverability. Typically, if the hand position is too low, we're bumping into our bodies, we're bumping into our knees. It allows a lot less flexibility in movement. There are countless handlebar manufacturers and options. It's my understanding that you can go up to 12-inch bars on a Harley touring bike without needing to change the cables, which is the most expensive part of that endeavor. But of course, make sure to verify that for yourself before moving in that direction. Lori and I both have 14-inch handlebars on our bikes. All right, windshields. As you probably know, you want the top of the windshield to be even with your nose when you're seated comfortably on your bike, not fully upright, as you don't ride in that position typically. Windshields with a recurve at the top can actually be a little bit lower and still move the wind over the top of your head. There are many windshield manufacturers. I have had great luck with Freedom Shields. Their product is great and their customer service is outstanding. I put a 1 inch wider on each side, so 2 inches wider total, on my Ultra for our summer road trips, and it really kept that wind off my shoulders and off the corners here. So made a huge difference, a lot of trial and error there. In fact, Freedom will let you put the shield on the bike and ride it, as long as you don't unpack all the plastic, protective plastic from it, and try it before you buy it. I love that. And then you just ship it back if it doesn't work. So Freedom Shields, we'll have a link in the comments. Okay, helmets. There are so many options for helmets. Of course, assuming that your helmet meets at least the DOT standards, the fit is everything. And it's so often missed. And just like buying a new seat, once you ride with it, there's no returning it. For this reason, I like to use RevZilla.com. They have an excellent module for helmet fitting, even selecting types of helmets or long oval like mine. Their customer service is outstanding as well. They allow you to wear the new helmet around your home or work for as long as you want. You just can't ride with it. I returned 2 helmets because I just couldn't find the right fit and had no issues whatsoever with them. There are volumes written about helmets that you can find anywhere, so let me just say this. Just like with a sore butt, hot spots and general head misery will ruin your ride. Make sure you take the time to find the perfect fitting helmet for your head, and it's not always the most expensive helmet. Personally, once I found the perfect helmet, I couldn't believe what a difference it made. I guess you don't know what you don't know. Now, if only there was a way to soften the external noise and get really high quality sound to maximize the ride. Okay, audio, music. Music is such a huge part of the riding experience for me and for many motorcyclists. And I feel like I've discovered a best kept secret. In motorcycle forums, I'm constantly seeing riders asking, what speakers or amps should I use? I can't hear my music at speed. Some riders spend thousands of dollars on sound systems, external sound systems, only to still be disappointed you still can't hear it when you're at speed. For the past 20 years, I've used Etymotic ear speakers, Etymotic. There's a link in the comments. These things are about $150. They're in-ear speakers, and they come with various tips to ensure a perfect fit. Lori and I use the foam tips, which provide noise cancellation up to 45 decibels. So they're noise-canceling ear speakers. This quiets the ride significantly while still allowing you to hear what's happening around you. And the sound quality is truly second to none. It's the best sound quality you have ever heard. I guarantee you that. You're hearing things in songs that I never heard before on any other audio system. Everyone I know who tries them never goes away from them. It's always a step back. If their Etymotics break or something happens, they just order a new pair. So depending on your motorcycle, you can keep it simple with just an iPod or an MP3 player. For years, I just ran like that with it strapped to my belt into the Etymotics, and that worked fine. Lori used a quad lock phone mounting system with her Heritage Softail Classic and connected her phone via an extension cable, an affordable solution that worked perfectly. On her Street Glide, we added an HD Boom audio cable kit. It's in the comments, 80 bucks, links. A Scenic 7-pin cord in the comments, 25 bucks. And a female-to-female stereo coupler, $3, something like that, super cheap. This setup allows full control of your music with the handlebar controls for track changes and volume. For the ultra classics like mine, or road glides, or the top touring models, they already come with that intercom setup. So you don't need the boom cable kit, just that Scenic 7-pin cord and the coupler, and you're good to go, you're rocking and rolling. With this setup, you'll experience superior sound quality at a fraction of the cost. And best of all, you won't be that rider that blares their music and annoys everyone around you. Don't be that guy. And now another word about music. We got the greatest sound system in the Etymotics, and we have varying levels of interest in music and music types by the rider. I personally am crazy about music. I love to have the soundtrack. I like to have the soundtrack specifically for the time of day or the mood I'm feeling. I have a massive music collection. Not everybody's into that. Lori benefits from the massive music collection by playing the same playlist virtually the whole time she rides, like all summer. I built a playlist that is like a compilation of every kind of music that she would like. I don't know, there's 800 or 900 songs on it, and she just listens to that the whole time. I laugh because it's crazy to me. Like I gotta have different kinds of music. So I will say that my music medium of choice is Spotify. What I love about Spotify, of course, is you can make your own playlists, but you can also use other people's playlists. So I use that a lot. Some of my friends are equally into music, if not more so, and I'd simply just follow them, grab some of their playlists if it looks good, whatever mood I'm feeling. And it's a community of people who are super into music. So if I'm on the road and I want a little different feel for classic rock, all I gotta do is search classic rock and, whatever huge number of classic rock playlists, 500 greatest classic rock tunes of all time or whatever. I mean, I agree with their rating, but all of a sudden, just like that, 2 seconds later, I have 500 reasonably awesome classic rock tunes. So I think that's a great tool to use to maximize the road trip. The soundtrack is expansive. In the mornings, I like, ambient music or atmospheric, whatever you want to call it, like mellow into acoustic and into metal and, midday heavy. You can have everything on Spotify and you can share it with your friends. Everyone can listen. You can listen to their stuff. Also, I use Audible. So sometimes I'll jam on a cool audio book or what I call Dharma, like some guided meditation. I mean, nothing like rolling down the desert in a perfect weather day and someone's like talking about a guided meditation as you're rolling. It's just elevating, man. It's super cool. I also listen to audio track sets from the channel Gaia, Gaia.com. I love that channel, and some of my favorite teachers have these long sets, seasons-long sets of 2-3 minute kind of Dharma talks. And man, I love that, and I just float down the road. So there's the deliverable here is, there is the sound system, literally, and then there's the music. So some people aren't that creative with music. Some people don't care about music. Some people don't know what they don't know and wish it was something better or something different. I'm happy to share any of the playlists that I have for riding. I love them. I think they're expansive. Everyone is welcome to them. That's the cool thing about Spotify. So that's something to consider. Let me know in the comments if you have some interest. I can walk through how to follow me and pull down all my playlists and make them your playlists. All right, we've mentioned it a couple of times quickly, but I don't know that I've ever actually referenced it directly. The helmet communication system that we prefer, we really like, is Cardo. Can you see is that showing up? Cardo, our Cardo communication system. We actually didn't start with these, with Cardo. We started with nothing, because that's how I learned how to ride with nothing. In years I went with nothing. But man, when you're riding with someone else, it's super helpful, and it adds such a dimension. Occasionally my brother Scott will come with us on long trips, 4, 5, 6, up to 7-day trips, and he patches in. He got himself one, and some other friends will join in, and they have the Cardo as well. You can patch it in. You can patch in Scenic users, which is the other big one. And it adds such an additional element, a dimension to the ride where you can see something and talk about it. Look at that, isn't that funny? Make the joke. I love to make jokes, so it's forever with the jokes, especially when Scott's with us, making jokes about this or that or whatever we see. It's tons of fun, and it certainly helps to make the memories. So Cardo, something we really love. We got our stuff at Cycle Gear, wherever you live and wherever you are. I dug it at Cycle Gear because they did the install for us. They in fact, they installed it on the helmet that I didn't buy from them. Lori bought a helmet from them, and they did the whole thing. My helmet, her helmet, hooked us up. Man, it was solid. So love Cardo, highly recommend them. Okay, gear. It's all about the gear. Jackets, gloves, boots, chaps, heated gear, rain gear. Now, you don't need good riding gear, but it sure helps when you're in the elements and you want to maximize your safety and enjoyment. I won't spend a ton of time here other than to share what's worked for us. So let's have a look. Jackets. We bring 2 jackets, one lightweight and one heavier weight. This summer we were in all climates, from triple digits in the desert to 10,000 feet of elevation with deep snow on the sides of the roads. Best to have 2 weights of jackets, just in case. Boots. This has always been a strange one to me because I see so many riders wearing sneakers or even sandals. Motorcycle boots are the best bet for motorcycle riding. They are reinforced to protect your feet and ankle in the event of unwanted impact. Finding the right pair of boots that are comfortable on long rides and still have that durability that you're looking for in a motorcycle boot makes all the difference. And by the way, when you're touring, sometimes there's a good bit of walking involved. We walked a lot this summer, getting into the visitors areas at the Grand Canyon and North and South Rims and countless other awesome locations. Find a pair of boots that are comfortable to walk in, and we really like Indy Ridge boots. Handmade in the USA, and their customer service is outstanding. Find a good pair of boots. Chaps. I've had the same pair of chaps for 20 years. I love wearing them for the peace of mind they provide on the road, as well as good wind and weather protection. Our approach to chaps is we wear them unless it's unbearably hot. I mean, why not? Heated gear. This is probably the least essential piece of gear that we bring on long trips, believe it or not. We use ours on rare occasions, but I'll tell you, when the circumstance arises that you need to use it, you're sure glad you have it. I have an old vest that still works great by Widder, W-I-D-D-E-R. They don't even make them anymore. My setup plugs directly into my motorcycle. Lori has a newer Gerbing vest we bought from Revzilla, and she wanted one with its own battery so she could be more mobile with it. No need to be tied to the bike and plugged into the bike. Plus, she can use it when she's snow skiing or doing anything else in the cool. If you think that that might be a better fit for you, then we advise get extra batteries and a multi-prong charger. I think on high or any decent amount of power, those things were lasting maybe 3 hours, each battery 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. So get a couple of batteries, get you a good solid 8 hours at rockin' hot temps, and keep you nice and warm. Rain gear. Now this is the gear you really want to get right. Now you don't need to spend a ton of money if you don't want to, although you can. I bought a set of built rain gear and they usually work just fine. I think my rain gear was $100, well, $120, something like that. When I say usually works fine, the reason, anytime it would leak was user error. I got in a hurry, I didn't seal it, and I get some leakage. But good set of rain gear, not that expensive. I also use Aero Stitch boot covers. Aero Stitch, everything I've gotten from Aero Stitch is top quality. I have a couple of other layers and things from Aero Stitch. Highly recommend that company. Lori did not have great luck with her built rain gear. So she switched to a set of Harley rain gear when we were in California about midway through our first long road trip. She loves it. It's worked great for her. And she has the Harley boot covers as well. I'm telling you, when you're looking at a forecast that's filled with storms in it and you know you're going to get it, it sure is nice to have a really, really good set of rain gear. Highly recommend that. Gloves. We both have wind protectors on our bikes because our handlebars are higher than our fairings. They work really well blocking the wind, bugs, flying debris, etc. But we still also bring at least 2 sets of gloves. Of course, we have our fingerless gloves that we wear no matter what, hot or cold. And honestly, unless it gets super cold, that's all we ever really need. We don't have heated grips on either bike. But we also do bring a full, a set of full warmer gloves, just in case we end up like a really super cold morning where it really matters, in the 30s, when the tips just can't take it. You got to have a full set of gloves on. So gloves, pretty easy one. I bought my gloves from Fox Creek Leather, which is also where I got my chaps. So Lori and I both got our chaps from Fox Creek Leather. They're in New Hampshire, USA, made in the USA. Awesome, awesome customer service support and quality. The latest addition, we recently received some custom-sized armor-reinforced riding jackets and pants from the company Beyond Riders. This is exciting for us, being so tall. It's hard to find clothes that fit, that aren't custom-sized. Jack Smith, the owner of Beyond Riders, was awesome to work with, and 3 out of 4 of our items worked great. Lori's riding pants didn't quite fit so well, so she's still working with them on that. But the gear we have from them is high quality, relatively lightweight, and the padding is comfortable even on the long rides. And again, the peace of mind of knowing that you have a little more protection in the event of something unexpected really is great. Well, I hope you enjoyed the series, Maximizing the Motorcycle Road Trip, and I hope you got something out of it. Again, everything that we shared here with you is not intended to be the best way or better than anybody else's way. It's simply our preferred way and what has worked for us over the many years and many miles. So expect more content from us around motorcycling on this channel, Own the 24, and on Lori's channel, Fearless Motorcycling with Lori. It's our passion. We love it. It's what we're going to do until we can't do it anymore. So we hope to see you around. And until then, own your 24.